Guys, Retro Gaming Maniac here with the one and only Radical Reggie.
Been quite a while, man. Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know, the last time we did a pickups video has been like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I know,
Something like
right?
that, it feels like
Crazy.
at least.
That means we got a lot of stuff to show off today, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, that we do. I've got a little
Yeah,
stack of games I've gotten, I guess, over the past few months. And I don't think I've showed these on
good.
camera yet or on my channel. So, what about you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a couple things to show off that I've gotten recently. So, I don't. I want to say about 10 items, maybe a little bit more. We'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah,
What
got some
what
good
is
stuff.
what has been your main focus lately you've been collecting for?
The main focus for me has been like it. Honestly, there hasn't been a main focus. I go by. I see if I see something I like it, I'll pick it up. But
Hmm.
more so, I would say I'm still focusing on PS4. Switch is fun to collect for too. PS5 getting there. So
Yeah,
more modern consoles, but when it comes to retro, I do try to pick up some stuff for PS2 when I see a chance of something I didn't play back in the day that
it's getting
I
harder to
wanted to
find
try.
PSP now.
PSP is tough to find, but definitely. Well, I said PS2,
Oh,
PS2.
PS2? Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, PSP. I'm pretty much done with that. Jason almost he needs 10 more games to have the full set American set, so he's almost done, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, wow.
Um, but PS2, if I find some stuff for that system, I'll pick it up. So that's about it so far. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, same here. I'm mostly doing PS2 stuff. I've got a few Switch games I picked up. I haven't been collecting too much of the modern stuff lately. Um, if it's a modern game that's like an indie game or a smaller developer type game where the entire game is gonna like be on the disc, then I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and if it's something I want, I'll get it. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm kind of getting discouraged with collecting modern games because everything's not even on the disc. So if you get it and the server's down or something, you're kind of screwed. So I've
Yeah,
been
even indie games are kind of like they're the standard for a complete product on a disc or cart, but
yeah
even they're getting kind of flimsy. So it's like wow, like it's not even worth getting some physical media anymore because it needs to be connected online for you to play it still, like
yeah
a patch or something. So
yeah
yeah.
it kind of sucks. So I've been doing mostly retro stuff. The most recent I've bought so far is the Switch. So,
Switch, good stuff, good
but I
stuff.
do have some pretty decent pickups here.
All right,
Um,
well, who wants to go first?
we'll let you go first. You're the guest.
All right. Well, guys, I picked up recently. I'm a big, you can say I'm a big like fan of Mega Man,
Yeah,
and I picked up this game, Azure Striker Gunvolt for the PS4. Now, this is the limited run edition. This is kind of funny because this came out on PS4 in Japan, and we thought it was going to be the only version that came out for it. But limited run, like a couple years later after this game's released, they decided to do their own physical for it. And what's cool about their version is that both versions are in English, but this one comes with the DLC embedded on the disc. So after you beat the game with the main character, you get to play as other characters as well, and that wasn't originally included on the disc. So really happy about that. I have every game in this series as a physical. That is a physical. This I consider this is probably the best one fight wise because the girl got the sword. She could kind of teleport and slash enemies all over the screen. I love the 2D sprite work. It's crazy. It's
yeah. I was
just
about to say that
overall,
sprite work looks great.
yeah, dude. It's insanely fun, dude. And yeah, Indie Crates does a lot of good work on their games. So happy to have this game in the collection. It is also available for Switch, but all the games came out via. I mean, this game and the Switch version came out via limited run, so you have to kind of go through that means to get it. The series has had a retail release in the beginning, but I guess it didn't really sell well, so the company doesn't want to take a chance by being their own publisher, so they go through limited run to be on the safe side. If that makes any sense, because
Oh yeah.
limited run kind of guarantees them a certain percentage or whatever like that, so they don't have to
Hmm.
take too many risks getting it physical. But if you guys see this game out there in the wild, or if you want to download it or whatever, it's definitely worth picking up. I mean, look at the special move I pull off here. This crazy samurai move. Look all over the screen. Boom. And it
That
takes the
looks
enemy
really
out. So
fun.
yeah, it's a great game, man. So definitely something that you might want to check out in the future.
Does it have any multiplayer on it?
No, just one single player.
Single player? Okay. First one I've got here. This is I think I may have showed you this when I got it, but it
Mm-hmm.
is one for the Switch, and that is Fatal Frame.
Yeah, you asked me about that. I remember.
Yeah, and that's
for
Mask of
Avengers.
Lunar Eclipse. Um, is this Fatal Frame? What is this? 4 or 5? Do we
That's
know?
4.
This
That's
is
4.
4.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one
So
that
I
came out on the
have.
Wii.
I think I have all the Fatal Frames except for the one that came out on the Wii. There was one on the Wii, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
so I have the ones on PS2, and I wanted to kind of continue with the Switch version here, and it looks really good. And there's actually it's either this one or the other Fatal Frame. If you get the one from the Philippines on the online site, you get like this special filter that you can put over your Switch that is
Oh,
supposed to
really?
do something that looks pretty cool. I don't have that filter though, but
Okay. Nice.
all right, what you got?
Um, a couple. I'm going through a list here, so sorry for it was taking me
Oh,
a
you're good.
second. But this one I got recently. This is Spirit Mancer.
Mhm.
Mancer. Sorry. This is a 2D sprite-based game, action and adventure, where you kind of level up using your regular weapons, which can be a gun or a sword, and you use these elemental cards that have random effects that attack your enemies with. Um, Game hit me by total surprise. I had no idea that this game existed, and not only that, I did not know it was going to get a physical release. So, very happy about that. I've played the game probably, I want to say, last week, and kind of getting used to the mechanics. And I got to the boss. I was like, dude, this is a throwback to old school stuff, man. Like I lost to the boss the first time because I was trying to like just go through it. Like I just sometimes get antsy.
Yeah,
But the second time they let you fight it again if you retry it immediately, which is awesome. And I took it out pretty easy because I stayed calm and just like used my skills properly in elements, and everything worked out for me. So and then I only that is when you beat the boss, I believe you can kind of like take their power, pretty much their element, their card. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, Spirit Mancer for the PS5. Don't know if it's gonna get a physical for Switch. But definitely it's out for PS5 from Video Games New York Soft. So what do you think, Josh?
I like it. That looks really fun. I like the level design. I like the cutscenes. It almost looks
Mm-hmm.
like it has like a Ben 10 animation to it.
Right, exactly. So, and the bosses have patterns and stuff. They have like I would say a three-way pattern that you kind of have to recognize.
Yeah,
And I got used to that right away after I died the first time. So you can see me kind of going in on her right now. But definitely a game that I think a lot of people will enjoy.
that looks great.
Yeah.
Next one up, I bought this along with the other one was Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater,
Mm-hmm.
and once again, I like the survival horror games. So this one's pretty cool. I don't know much about it yet. I'm waiting to play through them. I want to try to play through the ones on PS2 first and work my way up to the
Yeah,
Switch
you go through them.
versions.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're not long games, but
hmm I used to
so
rent
yeah,
Fatal Frame 2 all the time. Uh,
that's considered the best one, which is
yeah,
crazy.
Crimson Butterfly. We rented that
Hmm.
one on Xbox a lot back in the day. So.
Nice. Okay, so next game here I picked up for PS4. We got Felix the Cat.
Whoa.
I actually sold my NES. Well, no, I didn't sell it. I gave it to my buddy who wanted it because I found out this one's coming out and he really wanted the NES version. So I said, "Yep, go ahead. Here you go." Because he was looking for it for like a while.
Yeah.
So make sure I gave him my copy. So this comes with Felix the Cat Part One and the Game Boy version on the disc. And Felix the Cat is kind of reminiscent to games like Super Mario 3 because of the costume change. That'll remind people of the costume change in Mario 3. So I
Yeah.
think this game is very similar in that fact. Very fun platform game. Easy to get through, not too hard or anything like that. So anybody can pretty much play through it. I remember I played it the first time years ago and I beat it like the first time. It was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but maybe that's because I was just antsy to beat it. But I got through it the first time playing it and I loved it. So definitely check this one out if you have a chance.
And that's a Konami game. So is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's let's look at it real fast again, just to make sure. Yeah, Konami is the ones that created it.
Konami's always really solid with their games. It's hard to find a bad Konami game.
Mm-hmm.
Next one I got is kind of a heavy hitter for me, and I'm pretty happy to have this one. That is Resident Evil 2 for the
In box.
N64 complete in box.
Wow, how'd you pull that off?
Right? Facebook Marketplace. So,
Really?
oh, yeah. Yep, good deal on it too. So now I have a loose copy I'm going to sell. So, or use this
Yeah.
trade bait or something like that. But I find it pretty fascinating what they were able to fit into a Nintendo 64 cartridge, like the entire Resident Evil 2 game, like full motion cutscenes and everything into the 64 game is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
And
the game was done by Angel Studios, which is actually now like a part of Rockstar, or they're
oh, really?
like a yeah. So pretty much Rockstar Games helped make that
Yeah,
game happen. I believe, but yeah.
I
So
like
cool,
seeing
man.
when I like seeing like modern games kind of push back onto older consoles and just seeing like how they handle it and stuff.
Hmm.
Usually it doesn't work out so well, but I think they did a pretty good job for this one considering it's on a cartridge and they're still able to put the like full game on there.
Hmm. Exactly. So my next one here is a game I unfortunately haven't got to play that much because it came like right when I was before I was going to shoot a video with Jason.
Yeah.
But this is Rusted Moss for PS5. Now
Mhm.
this is a Metroidvania game where the gimmick is you have a grappling hook. Now this came with a bunch of extras like an art book and soundtrack, which I thought was pretty cool. The
Yeah.
game does play in English. It's got some animated intro here, as you can see. But the grappling hook is pretty much your main gimmick here to kind of go around. So it's like a twin stick Metroidvania, so you're gonna be using the analogs. The boss fights are really intense because using that grappling hook could be like really like fun and like during the battles because the bosses are really
Whoa,
agile,
look at that
move
map.
around. Yeah, the map is pretty insane, right? But
Yeah.
dude, it's such a cool game, and I love that this game got a physical release in in Japan first because like they put out physical releases pretty fast. They're not like waiting like some companies out here like a year later or whatever like that. You know, for a game like this, it's pretty much done. They'll make a physical, and it's available on Switch as well. So people want that Switch copy. I don't like the fact that they're skipping over PS4 for physical games. They're going straight to PS5. I want
Yeah.
my PS5 to be a more of a main like AAA like it's a powerhouse. I don't want to be really playing too many indie games on my
Yeah.
PS5 where I play them on my PS4. But unfortunately, sales are not as great on the PS4 these days as they are in the PS5. So I get it. So yeah, Rusted
Yeah.
Moss.
All right. Well, that one looks pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like the grapple hook that you have to use to kind of
It's
get
cool,
around the
huh?
level. Yeah. Next one I have here is a classic, and I got it mostly because of the cool cover art on it, but it is Fallout 3, and it's the Game of
Nice.
the Year edition for PS3. And if you can tell, it has the holographic kind of cover on it. This is just the slip for it. But
Nice.
if you, it actually, the cool thing, I was almost torn on whether to get it or not, whether or not I should get it. And then I went and I was looking at it, and I found out that this actually opens up. And I was like, okay, I've got to get that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
it's a slip that has the that opens up like that. So it's just Fallout 3. It's been around forever, but uh, I really wanted this one just to put on my shelf, and I already have a copy on PS3. But this is really cool to me.
Right on, man. Cool, cool. My next one here is, I mean, this has been out for years, but it got a really nice physical, and that is Metroid, well, Rogue Dawn Metroid for Nintendo. So this
Yeah,
is like an unofficial prequel to the original Metroid. So kind of like lines the story up real nice. Definitely a fan favorite over the years. It came out in 2017,
yeah,
and it's had a couple physical releases, but this release is done by Project Retro Games, which is probably the nicest I've ever seen. You got your little map in there, you know, you got your
that's cool.
pre-saved slot system, so that's cool. And it of course it has the old school graphics
I was about
of
to say
old
it
school
looks like the
Metroid.
original.
Yeah, yeah. I believe they reused sprites and added some new ones too. But you can see
Hmm.
Samus right there without her suit, kind of like going around the base and everything like that. So,
Yeah, it looks
and
like
I
a
think
mix between 8 and like 16-bit. As far as the detail on the sprites is more 16-bit, but the levels are like more 8-bit.
exactly, exactly. And I think you get to play as other characters too. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely something that's pretty outstanding when it comes to like something that's created by the fans. I mean, look at that, you know.
Yeah, I mean that would totally
So
pass as like a full licensed Nintendo game.
exactly. So glad to have that one in the collection.
Very nice, very nice. Next one I got recently, nothing special, but it's one I didn't have a physical copy of. I've been getting a lot of my games on Steam lately, so I wanted to get this physically, and that is Resident Evil Village. And it's not the special edition that has the new third person view in it or anything, it's just the original launch edition. But it's a game I enjoy on Steam, and I didn't have a physical, so I was like, man, I got to get a physical copy of it. And this is like $20 now or cheaper. You can find it
Yeah,
really cheap these days.
yeah. And the gold edition is kind of funny that the DLC doesn't even come out on the disc. It's like a code. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh, when
they
I
should
got
have
mine, it's
included
like,
that
dude,
for free if you already bought the game, but you got to pay for it now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like they try to add that mode, so they combine that mode with the DLC with the at the Rose.
Yeah,
I forgot what her story is called, but yeah, so annoying. But
yeah.
anyways, next game here we got good old Wild Guns
Oh, classic.
Reloaded. Yeah, for PS4. This is the strictly limited collector's edition. It went on sale for $50, and I said, "Yep, I'm getting that for $50 because that is totally worth it. Usually goes for
Yeah,
100 or something like that."
because you
So
had the
this is
original before, but you didn't have the collector's edition, right?
yeah, exactly. And man, it's a tough game, but once you get used to it, it's really not too bad. But still, I wish they could have been had a more of an easy mode on it, or
Yeah,
this a mode where you could like check out some of the levels. But definitely something I'm happy to have. It is a gallery shooter, so if you're not familiar with those, it plays like Cabal, Blood Bros. You can see the characters right here. They're shooting
yeah.
enemies in the background. So
For people that don't know,
pretty
this is a remake of the classic Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version that came out back in the day. But
exactly. Exactly. So very cool. And it's got new characters in it too. So yeah.
that's cool. Next one, nothing special. It's one I didn't have, and it was super cheap, so I got it. Ghost Recon 2: Advanced Warfighter.
Yeah.
Kind of a sucker for the Tom Clancy games, and nothing special about this one. And honestly, it doesn't even run that well on PS3, but it was cheap and it's one I didn't have.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Now you can try it out. So you're good, man. So next game here, we got a little bit of Clock Tower.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Got the Clock Tower. So Clock Tower or Rewind is a remake of Clock Tower First Fear, as people call it. Um, And I don't know, being a point and click car game, I don't know if this game will be everybody's cup of tea. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
it's aged well for me, but for newer players, I'm not sure it's going to really catch their eye. But it is a good horror story. This comes with a lot of extras, like interview with the creator, the comic strip. There's all kind of cool stuff. So I'm a big fan of Clock Tower, so I was happy to get this, especially on PS4.
yeah,
They usually skip over PS4, go to PS5, and they're still making Switch stuff too, which is crazy. I mean, you
that's
know what I
cool.
mean? Like I just try to just to compare it though, like so. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that looks
and
really
that
cool. I
right
like
here,
the animations they do in between, like for the cutscenes and stuff.
yeah, it's really cool. That animation right there is from the PC version, which has
Yeah,
one of the best intros of the old school one.
yeah.
It gives you an expansion of how the Burroughs Mansion looks and
Hmm.
the clock tower. And it's playing this eerie music, even though you can't hear it right now. But I just love how this intro is, man. It just really gets me pumped up. So I kind of added it in.
Yeah, something about the clock tower games and just the old school point and clicks. That's what I grew up playing was on PC. We had a very low end PC, and the only games that could really run was some of the point and click games. So I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed a lot of those. Something about the
I
point and
hear you on
click
that.
really just pulls you into the environment and makes it feel alive, like everything you can kind of interact with, even though it's not like
Mm-hmm.
full motion video and all that. Um,
Exactly.
Next up is another PS3 game, and I got this one recently actually, and it's Far Cry 4. So I have the PS4 version, but I didn't have the PS3 one. And I actually played this yesterday, and it was interesting to go back and see how the PS3 handled a next gen game because this was meant for the PS4, and they did release this PS3 version, and it did a pretty good job. There is some issues with the frame rate dropping, especially in cutscenes, which is odd. Normally, the cutscenes are what flows really well, the non-playable parts, and then the gameplay is slow. But in this one, the gameplay is mostly smooth, and the cutscenes are a little laggy. Aside from that, the PS3 version doesn't have a lot of the foliage moving in the wind and a lot of the extra stuff. Like it's there, but it's not as static as opposed to the PS4. It's all moving, and you can see the wind blowing it, and feels a lot more alive. Overall, though, I think they did a good job for a PS3 being as old as it is when this game released. That they were still able to fit the entire game, including the multiplayer and the map maker. Which
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll take shortcuts and they'll just give you like maybe just the campaign and that's it, not all the extras.
Right. They usually don't want to take risks because if they have a good fan base on one system, they'll release it on the old school system and then release it on a new one so the
Yep.
sales will be okay. So that makes sense. Next game here, we got the King of Fighters 98. This is
Neo
the
Geo.
deluxe edition. Yeah, dude. And what's cool about this is that it came with this painting here, which is awesome. That I'm gonna put up on my wall eventually.
That's
But
cool.
I love that cover. I love the King of Fighters games a lot, especially the Dream Match games. This I believe it's the first dream match they made, which is like a non-story game, just like a dream match with all like characters like from past and present back together.
Yeah,
So pretty cool. My favorite is actually 2002 Unlimited. I think that's the best dream match game of all time. But this one's on point too, of course. I mean, but I got this from Pix and Love, and it came with that poster, and they put the game in a snap case. So it looks
that's
like it's
cool.
from Neo Geo, but actually it's for PS4
Yeah,
because I don't have a Neo Geo. But still, just the fact that they kind of try to make it feel old, like bring it back to how it originally would have been put out,
oh yeah,
by Neo Geo. It's really nice and authentic, I think. So happy to have this in the collection,
yeah, that
and
is
I
awesome.
love. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely on point.
Yeah, that's King of Fighters. That's like your favorite fighting genre, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them,
One of
probably the
them.
top one.
This next one I got actually at the local library down the street was having a sale. I think everything, their books, everything was 50 cents. And I was like, well, I'll go walk around and see. And sure enough, they had a couple of PS2 games in there, which was I was not expecting because this is a library that in the year 2024 that does they don't even do games anymore. But I guess maybe they found this in the back room. But it was Metal Saga for the PS2.
Nice.
I ended up getting for 50 cents. It's an
Woo!
Atlas game, and it's pretty cool. It's an RTS style Metal Saga
That,
game.
that game, I believe, has an install feature. If you have a PS2 hard drive on the back, it'll tell you can
hmm
install it. Does it say that?
Let's see, unique combat, full scale RPG.
Like at the bottom somewhere, it should say like install or something like that.
Let's see, I'm looking for it. I don't see it, but it's probably on there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe they didn't advertise it, but I know you can install that game on the PS2 to like the decrease load times, which was nice. So
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, I was
very
surprised to see
cool.
this.
Cool. We got a little bit of Game Boy Advance here.
Oh,
Um, we got V Rally 3. This game came out to America, but that version you're seeing is the PAL version because it was a lot cheaper to
yeah,
get it complete. So I was like, yep, I'll go with that version. And it's pretty much off-road racing. You know what I mean? It tells you when to turn. You're racing in the wilds. You see, we're here in Africa right now. So
yeah.
this environment for the Game Boy Advance looks outstanding. I
I
can
was about
really
to
have my
say this looks
headphones.
really good for a Game Boy Advance.
Exactly. And look at that. The first person view screen with your hands on the steering wheel. I
Yeah.
love that type of stuff, man.
Oh,
Especially
you
for
can get a
something like
cracked windshield. Look at that.
yeah, oh yeah. He did all that stuff, dude. Because it's wild racing pretty much. So out in the wilds. But dude, this game is so cool. And I love games that kind of push the Game Boy Advance's power. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know the Game Boy Advance is a 32-bit system. Not saying this game is pushing it, but I feel like it is because the way it plays, man.
It's
But definitely
definitely a step above what you would normally see on Game Boy Advance. And um,
exactly.
me personally, I'm
It,
not huge into racing games, but when I do play, I enjoy the rally games. Just the
mm-hmm.
off-road nature, the sliding, the turns and the jumps. Those are to me are fun. Those are the kind of racing games I enjoy.
Exactly. So yeah, happy to have this. And I didn't pay the $100+ people were trying to ask for the American version.
Yeah,
I went the other route.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Game Boy Advance, I actually have one here that I have, and it's kind of cool. And I got this one for free as a gift, but it is the Japanese version of Super Mario Advance for the Game Boy Advance,
Nice.
and it's complete. The only thing it doesn't have is like the styrofoam and the box inserts, but it's got the game
Mm-hmm.
and the manual here. It's all Japanese, but it's kind of cool. It's like the only Japanese Game Boy Advance game I have, so it's pretty cool.
Right on. Next game I talked about recently, like everybody's like kind of like going crazy over it. Rogue Flight for PS5. I think I told you to pick this one
Yeah,
up.
yep. I watched
Hopefully
that
you didn't
video.
wait. But this game is like a combination of like an Afterburner mixed with Star Fox. And I hate to like compare, but I got to give you guys an example so you know
Yeah,
what you're getting into when you get this game. Um, Dude, the story in this game, the whole presentation, the gameplay, story characters. I mean, it is so well done. It's like insanely. And you were thinking like, wow, usually companies will cut this up into DLC, but no, they didn't. Everything it just feels like a complete product, and it's so fast paced. The voice acting is great. It has different story paths you can take, so
yeah,
obviously multiple endings. And dude, it was crazy because you have three. Well, I can't go over too much of it, man, but the first three endings, dude, were like I tried to go for the best ending, and it didn't end. It ended up being okay. And I was like, okay, I can accept this ending. But when I went for the lesser endings for the other choices, I was like, man, these endings are jacked up, dude. I was like, dude, I'm so glad I made the choice I made the first time. But I
Yeah.
love how you go view, like go in the cockpit view like that, and that's pretty intense. You can play the game like this, man. You are a G. I can only play like that for a little bit, but yeah, it's just the levels, dude. Like it just seems like everything's coming at you. I'm not like dodging these asteroids, dude. It's like crazy, dude. Like this, like so intense.
Yeah, this is
And
like
a lot of
Star
people,
Fox on steroids. The graphics look
yeah.
great, and I like the
Yeah,
cutscenes.
the only thing is missing is all range mode that Star Fox included with 64 version, but I
Yeah.
don't care about that. You know, maybe they could make it if they added a sequel or something like that. But game has so many different modes you could try out, dude. It's like so good, man. And I got to give it up to the creator for putting something out like this, man. It really means a lot. It really touched me like playing this game. Like it's like,
Yeah.
dude, it just it opened up my love for the old school again. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
sometimes we fall off, but dude, this is so good. So I just love this is a labor of love and really outstanding. So yeah, Rogue Flight. If you haven't picked it up, folks, it is on sale digital right now. Um, if you don't end up getting the PS5 physical, and maybe it'll come out for Switch if it sells good. They're still trying to get
I
the
hope
sales
so.
on the digital going well. So
Yeah.
I think it's on sale for 14 or 9.99 right now. So definitely people should pick it up.
Yeah, actually, after I watched your video on that game, I went and got it for Steam from a Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was wanting to get a physical copy, but I don't have a PS5, so I got to wait on the Switch version to come out if there is going to be one.
No, get the PS5 version anyway, and then like when you get a PS5, you'll have that version ready to go.
That's true. If I ever get a
You don't
PS5,
want to
I
wait
don't know.
because like what happens when they sell out and they don't want to do a restock? That's when everybody all of a sudden wants it,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's like, oh god, you got to go through inflated prices and all that craziness. So
yeah, that's true. I may have to grab one then. All right, so next one I have is kind of a heavy hitter. It's one I got a few months back, and I'm super happy to have it. And that is Rule of Rose on PS2.
whoa, I didn't know you got that.
Yeah, I finally got it. Had my eye on it for a while, and got a pretty good deal on it. Another Atlas game, and this game is it's pretty dark. I played through some of it.
Yeah,
It's a very unique game, kind of creepy,
it
and
is.
it
It graphically the game looks great.
yeah,
I mean the voices, the story. The only thing that game has a really big problem with is the gameplay. It needs a little bit more polish, like with hit detection
the
things
hit
like
detection.
that.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Is the main issue
Yeah,
with it. Um,
but I got through it back in the day, and I played it again, but I played it with the Game Shark the
yeah,
next time, so I could unlock the gun immediately. If
hmm
you have the gun in the beginning, it's totally playable, but yeah, it could be tough going through it without the gun in the beginning. But it's definitely a I can't say it's a great game or a good game,
yeah.
but it is a game that has a lot of potential if they fix that gameplay issue. Like it
I
would
would
have
like
been
to see a
really.
remaster of it on PS4 or something. Just kind of
They
release.
actually tried.
Oh,
They
did they?
tried a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't know if they could get it done again because I don't know if anybody wants to remake it from the ground up. They probably just want to port that version over to make it
Yeah,
easier. But
maybe with some
a lot of people
extras
would
or
be against
something.
that. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, cool, man. You are, yeah, you are pulling out the gems.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, gem and rarity. I mean, shit, man, that
yeah.
game
And
is
the
right
PS2
on.
is my main collecting goal. So just getting some really nice horror games in PS2.
This next game I got is a Shinobi. This is the pink edition. I got from Red
Nice.
Art Games. If you like shoot 'em ups, vertical shoot 'em ups, this one will be right up your alley. It reminds me of that game on the Dreamcast called Ghost Blade.
Mm,
Just how you fire and shoot enemies and everything, how you charge your shots and spread shot. I mean, as far as I can see, you only get one, like a couple different weapons, so you kind
yeah.
of utilize them for certain events. But you can see how colorful this game is. This right here is me fighting the first boss. I'm like, dude, like this is insanely good. So definitely something I'm happy to have. Every time I see a shooter come out for a system like the PS4, I definitely have to pick it up or the Switch or whatever like that. So
Oh yeah.
I'm happy to have this. But yeah, Shinobi, and oh
Very
yeah, I got
nice.
killed, but
It's
here's
a
me just
very
going through the regular level.
it's a very colorful kind of like I don't know, like 1980s color, like cyberpunk
Yeah,
1980s look.
you have to be careful with this game because all the different colors might cost like a seizure or something like that. So you gotta be careful. But yeah, happy to have this one. Pretty solid game, and yeah, the shoot 'em up collection continues.
All right. Very nice. Next up, I have is one that this is one I actually rented a long time ago from a Blockbuster, and I really wanted it, and I had the chance to get it really cheap back in the day, and I kind of missed out on it. But that is Samurai Western on the PS2. Very
Very
unique,
nice.
very unique game. Um, it's like if I had to explain it, it's like Tenchu or how would you explain it? It's a mix between Red Dead Revolver and like a
So if you
samurai
play
type.
games like if you play the games like Way of the Samurai, it's like a spinoff of
Yeah,
that.
Way of Samurai. That's it.
Basically, it's a action 3D action game where you play as a samurai, goes to the Wild West. He could deflect bullets that are shot at him and then cut his
Yep,
enemies down. And also has a secret 2-player mode where you get to play as a gunslinger, so you
yep.
can
My
mix
brother
them
and
up
I
together,
played
dude.
that.
Dude, it'd be really fun. So I'm happy
Yeah.
you really got the game, and it has a reversible cover, which I prefer the reverse cover.
Oh, really?
But
Should
yeah, a
we
lot of
take a
people don't
look
know it
at it
has a
real
reverse
quick?
cover. Sure, sure.
All right, guys. Let's take a look at the reversible cover. Now, if I get this out and it's
Let
not
me
reversible, I got means I got gypped. But
Yeah, that means it's fake. But
there we go.
there it is.
Very cool.
That's the samurai with his brother with the gun and on top. So it's pretty cool. And that one has all the characters on the front. I like that one, but I just feel the other one's more passionate because at the bottom you can see the samurai going after the Westerners in a silhouette shadow
Yeah,
at
that's
the
cool.
bottom. So it looks really cool. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I do like the alternate cover on it as well. Actually, I didn't
yeah,
know that
yeah,
was there.
yeah. But you might want to switch it up here and there. You know what I mean? So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
very cool.
yeah. Very very cool game. Let's say that's one that I got at a Blockbuster once, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's a very unique game. I really enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
it. And now of course it's Atlas, and you can't find it anywhere. But
Good old Atlas.
yeah, they're Atlas and their limited releases.
All right, so my next game here is a classic. You know this game well. We talked about it over the years. That is a Double
Double
Dragon.
Dragon. Yep.
This is the Double Dragon collection.
Uh-huh.
So this collection, unfortunately, is missing the arcade games, but it
Mm.
almost has everything else on there. It's missing Double Dragon Neo and a Gaiden because Gaiden just recently came out, so they're not going to include that here. But I think they're going to make a volume 2. That's why they cut out the arcade games. So we'll see what happens. But the main Double Dragon on here that people are going to want to play, at least what I want to play, which I think is the best one in the series, is Double Dragon Advance. As
Yeah.
you can see right there, Double Dragon Advance is like Double Dragon 1 and 2 mixed together. It was really well done, and it came out by this company. I think they went under that for a million something when it came out for Game Boy Advance back in the early 2000s. But
Mhm.
definitely a solid game.
Does it
And
come with
you get
that Sega Genesis Double Dragon fighting game that came out back in the day?
no, you talking about Double Dragon 5? No way.
Yeah,
They'll
good.
probably throw that in the next version if they do. But that game was based off the cartoon, which was horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
bad.
yeah. Ugh.
All right. Next one up was one I've been looking for a while. I think it's one I told you I was looking for if you ever found a copy of it. I finally got it for a good deal. I think it was one of the groups I'm in Facebook, just one of the gaming groups. And that's Silent Hill Origins on the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this game originally on the PSP, but PS2 is kind of my favorite thing to collect for, so I had to find a copy on the PS2, and I finally did. So I'm pretty happy to have this one.
Yeah, Silent Hill Origins, man. I actually thought it was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the PS2 has I think like 5 different Silent Hill games on it.
Yep.
Silent Hill 1 through 3, Memories, and then that one. So
Yep.
very cool.
And you also got Silent Hill 4, The Door.
Yeah, on the room on the PS2 and Xbox, yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or the room. I mean, yeah, not the door.
You're good. Next game here is a game I just recently got, so I don't know too much about it. But this is called After Dream. This is about seems like a journalist or I don't know, like a freelance journalist, and she's having these nightmares, and the nightmares are turning into reality. I'm guessing, or something like that. And she's taking pictures of stuff. I don't know too much about it just of yet, but I think her dreams are kind of like manifesting into like reality. Not too sure. And if people in the comments let me know if you played the game through. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. I really love the cover of the game. It kind of like shows the aesthetic of the art style they're going to use for it, which I thought was great. So side-scrolling horror games. I feel like indie companies are the only ones who could do horror games. Like they know how to do them right and keep them like just proper. I played a horror game recently. I think it was Callisto Protocol, and I was like, damn, dude, like I don't want to go over that game too much, but it's like I beat the game and I was like kind of disappointed because how they do the main character. I was like, man, what the hell? But anyways, you're not guaranteed anything in a horror game, so you just
Yeah.
you could have a horrible ending, a good ending. You never know what you're gonna get.
I
So
like the artwork and the design on this one. The way looking
yeah,
through with the camera, that's kind of creepy. And then
hmm
that creature at the end, one of those bosses or whatever that was, looked pretty crazy.
yeah,
The next one, these are going to be the last of my pickups,
okay.
and they're not even games, and they're they're just something I had seen early on, and I thought, man, I like this kind of stuff, but it's the Ronald McDonald Wacky Adventures VHSs.
That's funny, dude.
So you got Wacky Adventures, you got Halftime Will Travel on VHS. You have Ronald McDonald Birthday World. And this is back when like they used to do this. You know, they would release like McDonald's video games and McDonald's, you know, all kind of good stuff. Like Burger King had their own, but McDonald's, they had a couple of. I think they had some Sega Genesis games, some NES games. I'm not sure if they had any on Super Nintendo. You got Visitors from Outer Space.
Mm-hmm.
You got Legend of Grimace Island.
Grimace, wow.
And you got, this one's my favorite one. It's Ronald McDonald Scared Silly. They go on like a camping adventure and they wander across this
Scared
mansion
Silly,
in the woods.
It sounds like one of those Ernest movies.
Yeah,
Ernest
but
Scared Stupid.
there was actually 6 episodes that came out. 1 through 5 was released on VHS, and then 2 or 3 years later, after this show had ended, they released another episode that came out. I believe it came out on DVD, and that one, forgot the name of it. I'll have to put it in the a picture of it, but that one's hard to find and it's expensive. These are not easy to find, but they're cheap if you do find them. They're really fun,
Okay.
and I don't know if you can tell, but the artwork and the animation was done by the same company that did the Wild Thornberries. So if you're able to see, it's very similar. Not only does it look like Wild Thornberries, but the episodes, the music, and everything just sounds and plays a lot like the Wild Thornberries. So it's actually a full-fledged, like really nice series.
Okay. Cool. Next game here. Maybe you kind of celebrate Black History Month with this game.
All right.
Iron Wings.
Oh, nice.
For the PS4. This has to do with World War II though, but it kind of goes over the story of this pilot and this other pilot girl, and they're not I believe they're like childhood friends or whatever like that, but they're dealing with the war. And I thought this game was pretty. I actually originally got it on the Switch years ago, but the PS4 version came out. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab it on PS4. Now I'm not saying it's the best game. It is arcadey like.
Yeah.
But you really got to get used to the combat because the camera angle sometimes, the way you have the angle to shoot enemies out. Could be pretty weird for me at least, but I think it was something really cool. And it's like a $20 game. I got mine off eBay, like pretty cheap. So
oh yeah, well I'm a sucker for the World War II airplane fighting games.
Well, yeah, I was really wanting to get this game, Josh, because it was made by one of the companies that made one of my favorite fighting games on the PS1, which was Naps.
Yeah,
they created Geku Urban Fighter. If you remember,
I do remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they created this game, so I was like, wow,
that's
okay,
cool.
They're still making games. So yeah.
Yeah, I was I played Heroes of the Pacific and Secret Weapons over Normandy and all those on PS2 and a few of them on PS3 that came out. And I always enjoyed them. So I always like these kind of airplane shooting games. Ace Combat, all those.
There you go. So yeah, check this one out soon.
Very nice. I am out of pickups.
Well, I'll do one more.
Let's do one more.
We end it here. I'll do one more here, and I'm trying to decide on which one I want to show you guys, but I think I'm going to go with something that I want you to pick up.
All right.
And that is the IGS collection for the Switch. Now, the reason I wanted you to pick this up because it has a plethora of games on it. But one of the main games on here that a lot of people didn't know was on this collection is Demon Front. This is a Metal Slug type game.
Oh, wow.
And it is pretty cool. It's got a bit of different gimmicks though, but it still feels like Metal Slug, which is totally fine. I mean, and not only does that Metal Slug, it has this fighting game called Martial Arts Masters, which is another obscure fighting game that's really good. So those two games alone are perfect to get this collection for.
And these are normally arcade games, right?
Yeah, they're definitely they're ports of arcade games.
Okay.
So, but more so, there's beat 'em ups on here.
Hmm.
But they're definitely something that I think people should pick up. A lot of people don't know like how many games are on here, and I think once they sell out, they're not going to do another run of these. So
Yeah.
I just feel it's not that popular, I guess. But I'm happy that Play Asia did something for him, man, because I was like, dude, as soon as I found out about these games, Jason was the one that had Demon Font. He has it like in his intros, and people kept asking him what that game is from.
Yeah.
And now it's got a physical, so he has it now too. So happy to have this in the collection.
That's
And
cool. You said Play Asia, right?
you play Asia, eBay, yeah, it goes for around $35, which I think is totally fine.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But yeah, definitely something
Very
pretty
nice.
cool to have.
Yeah, I'll have to get that one. I'm always looking for some cool games for the Switch, especially the ones that everything is like all encompassed on the card itself. Where you don't have to
Yeah,
download
exactly.
anything.
Exactly. So that makes it perfect. So man, another pickup's done after like 4 years.
I know,
Wow.
right? We got to do more of these more often.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Well, thanks for dropping by and showing what you got. I think we had some pretty good games here. Hopefully, people enjoyed it and found something they want to pick up as well. And
definitely, look out for more videos from Josh, the Retro Gaming Maniac. He is back.
I'm back. Yeah, I've been doing a series lately called the Buried Pixels. So we go over and we take a look at retro games and talk about some that you may not know about. Maybe you do, get a little backstory on them, and we just, talk about why we enjoy them. But make sure you check out Reggie. He's got a ton of great videos coming up. He's got podcasts, pickups videos. And if you're ever looking for some interesting games that are not mainstream per se, Reggie's got you covered. Him and Jason, they come up with. There's so many games they've showed that I've never even heard of or knew existed, and that's why I try to get some of my less common games as I find them through Radical Reggie. All right, guys, thanks for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll see you, Reggie.
Later.